All right, and we are live. All right. I don't know if anybody's in here yet. So while I'm waiting, nobody's in here yet. Okay, 1 second. This is kind of like a last minute live. I wasn't planning on doing any YouTube today, but I figured that it was necessary. So I'm going to be completely unprofessional. I'm going to pour myself a drink while I wait for people to show up. I'm not a beer drinker. I didn't used to be, but as of like a couple of weeks ago, I am. This is sour beer. I'm gonna have a beer while I while I talk with you guys. All right, can everybody hear me okay? I guess I can't ask you to give me a thumbs up, but let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay. It's the first time I've had that one. All right, so you guys can hear me okay, right? Let me just double check my settings here. Dun, 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 dun. I think there's like a delay whenever I do StreamYard, because I'm gonna get like in like a second here, I'm gonna have you guys saying, yeah, I can hear you. I'm just gonna go pop over on YouTube really quick and make sure that I can hear myself talk. Can hear. Okay. I think there is a delay. Okay. So are any of you guys on here Cambly tutors? Let me just let me know if you guys are Cambly tutors, if you're Cambly tutors in California, or if you're just like checking this out to see what's going on. I will share here my screen. Oh, that's weird. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. I posted this on Instagram and I shared it in the online ESL teacher success and support group. So I shared this here earlier. But Cambly listed an update, or they sent out an update to teachers saying, hi tutors, with a happy heart, we write to let you know that in response to recent changes in California effective to May 25th, 2022, Cambly will no longer support tutoring on the platform from California. While we would love to continue to engage with our California tutors, unfortunately, we're no longer able to do so. Should California-based tutors move out of state, they will be able to reopen their Cambly accounts and resume tutoring as if nothing changed. While this does not impact tutors outside of California, we understand this may be concerning, blah, 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 blah. And then there's an FAQ there as well. So you're Ryan, you're in California. I'm sorry, a Cambly tutor in California. I'm sorry. Those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I've come on here as things changed with different ESL companies. And I am an inactive Cambly tutor. Like I am on the platform. I don't teach on the platform. So I get these updates as well. And a lot of people were asking what the FAQ looked like because they're unable to see it. So I'm just going to show you what the FAQ looks like. And then I will go into the rest of the video here. So I'm just going to come over here, share the screen for the Cambly tutor update. So this is if you log into the Cambly platform and you click that link, you have to log in to click that link. So I'm going to show you this right here. It really doesn't say anything. It just says effective May 25th, Cambly is no longer going to be engaging with Cambly tutors in California. Then it's got a Q&A. How do I determine if I'm affected? If you're in California, your ability to tutor on Cambly will not be affected if you are not from California. Students who live in California will be unaffected by this change. If you move to California, you will no longer be able to work for Cambly. Even if you are just visiting California, you are not able to tutor. So if you go on vacation to California, you are not allowed to tutor, even if you're just visiting. California is the only state that's affected. Your last day will be May 25th, so you've got a little bit of time to prepare. Then your last paycheck is going to be May 30th if you continue to tutor with Cambly. If you move outside of California, then you can, and your account's in good standing, then you can reopen your account and act like nothing ever happened. And you don't have to take any action You don't have to close your account or do anything. So that's what the FAQ said. Pretty much nothing. Catherine said they really shouldn't have asked people what state they lived in and removed all the Californian teachers. Honestly, okay, so I would really have to like dive into the politics and the bills and everything that's going on. I am not 100% sure what happened to cause this change, but when I was looking at it, I found some news articles. So like I like don't look at me for politics here. But when I was looking at it, I found some articles on there. I guess Biden tried to reverse Trump's gig workers law and did something wrong and it didn't work. So the court said the gig workers law is back in effect or something like that. I don't know. Don't look at me for politics. In order for me to understand politics, I have to have somebody break them down for me sometimes. And just being honest, or I have to like deep dive into it. And I did not find anything when I deep dived. So, that being said, as far as them asking people why, like where they lived and then removing them, it's probably something that they had to do like per California law. It's probably something, and they're not removed yet. It says that they have until May 25th. So they're still there. They're not removed from the platform yet. So, right, Ryan, you're in California. You still have access, right? If you're still here, you still have access to it. So as of May 25th, you're not going to be able to do this. So this goes back, Cambly is an unethical platform anyways. I help California teachers find a much more better caring platform. I agree with you. Not necessarily saying that they're unethical, but just I agree with you on that. I've always said that Cambly is a low paying platform. As far as I know, the law wasn't ever expected to affect freelancers that were correctly categorized. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to like deep dive into the law. I know we have the same kind of bill in New York. I'm from New York State. We have the same kind of bill in New York State that has been in limbo since 2019. Nothing has ever changed. But I also know that in New York State, they just told all of the New York State teachers on VIP Kid that they can no longer teach on VIP Kid. Not that the teachers on VIP Kid are getting any global bookings, because they're really not. But I do know that this gig worker law has been affecting, and like Washington State has some gig worker things going on. There's a couple other states. So it's something that can always affect you, I guess. So when it's especially frustrating because Cambly is based in San Francisco. Yeah, well, VIP Kid had their office in California as well when all that happened. So what I like want to talk about now is there are a lot of Cambly teachers, and I don't know how many teachers are in Cambly and in California. I don't know how many teachers this is going to affect, but when it comes down to it, there are a lot of online ESL teachers, online teachers in general, that are working out of California, whether it's with Cambly or another company. Same thing, New York, Washington, any of these states that it can happen to. And while I fully believe that you should have the choice, it should be your choice. And I made a video on this a while back about the New York State law trying to get people to like fight against it. And I've been in touch with the senators from my local area, and we've been talking about it. Well, I haven't talked to them in a couple of years because this was in 2019 when this happened, or when it started happening. So this is something that I'm familiar with. And I disagree with it. I see where they're coming from. Really, it's not meant to affect online teachers. However, I do see in the future some things are probably going to happen that are meant to affect online teachers because it is booming, right? Like it's bound, like something's going to happen in the future. So just you always have to be prepared to take your shift. But I disagree with it because I think that you should have your choice. This is not meant to affect teachers. It's meant to affect like Uber drivers. That's really where the intentions are made for. And there's an old video, and I'll see if I can find it afterwards, that I had, it's an old, embarrassing, like early YouTube video of mine, from like 2019, where a VI, and I posted this video with like my commentary on it, but a VIP kid teacher had gone from New York State, had gone in front of the like senators or whatever to talk about this bill that is the same kind of bill that's passed in or that is trying to be passed in New York State. And they asked her, they were like, so what happens if you like get hurt at work? And she's like, how am I going to get hurt? And they're like, well, what happens if you like go to sit on the chair and you're a klutz and you like fall on your butt and you get hurt and now you can't work? And she's like, well, that's my responsibility because it's my home. My employer shouldn't have any say in that. Like, it's my responsibility to make sure that my house is clean so that I don't fall on my butt. And it's my responsibility to make sure that my chair like is working and then I put my butt in the right spot in the chair, paraphrasing here. But it's kind of what they're like concerned about, is they're concerned about workers' rights. And I see where they're coming from. I also firmly believe that teachers should have the choice. You should have the choice. If you want to work for a company like Cambly that is paying you a lower wage because you just want to log on and like use their, use their students, and like you want to work for Cambly for whatever reason, you should be able to make that choice and work for Cambly. You are a gig worker and an independent contractor, whatever, and it should be your choice. However, and this is the same thing, like when VIP Kid closed, when Whales closed, when Palefish teachers get fired, Palefish is still going somehow. But like every time this happens, teachers are like in a, oh my goodness, I'm losing my job. What am I going to do? This is not a bad thing for you. And I know that right now it's like, holy cow, there's changes. There's changes that are being made here. Like what am I going to do? Because like, this is my livelihood. But this is not a bad thing, because it's going to force you, and it's, again, I believe that it should be your choice, but in reality, it's going to force you to step out of your comfort zone and do something that you probably never would have done before, and you would have sat in your comfort zone at Cambly making not so great money. Because let's be honest, Cambly is not the best paying job. It's not the best paying company. Cambly Kids pays a little bit better than their free talk, where their regular Cambly, whatever you call it. So it's not the best. It's bean. Like they pay you beans. So right now at this point in time, you have to, it's beans. Okay, yeah. You have to make the decision on what you're going to do. And if you've been following me for a while, I've said this many different times. Your eggs should never just be put in one basket. And a lot of people will tell you to put them in many different baskets. So like if you're working for Cambly, you should also be working for Outschool and All School, and back then like VIP Kid and Palefish or whatever, and like work for all these different companies. I don't fully disagree with that, but I do semi disagree with that. I firmly believe that you should not stretch yourself thin and work for all these different companies. Go ahead and apply to any company that catches your eye and you think that you might like. Stick with the companies and keep your schedule for the companies that you decide that you actually like. I'm sorry, am I doing a live without you? Ew, that's gross. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know why I'm apologizing. I'm the one that had to deal with it. I hate dog kisses. Love my dog, hate dog kisses. But one of the baskets, if you're going to work for a company, one of the baskets should always be the you basket, the Ryan basket, the Catherine basket, the Jill basket, like whatever it is. One of the baskets should always be the basket where it's your own independent business. And the reason that I say this is because if legislation happens and something happens to your company because of gig worker rules, if they decide that they're going to cut their pay or change their regulations, like like Palefish did, like VIP Kid did 2 years ago, like Palefish did last year and the year before, like a lot of companies have done, if they decide that they're going to change like your payment method or anything like that, then you no longer can rely on it. because it's changed and you have to change your whole livelihood. And you no longer have those students because they belonged to the company. Their contact information belonged to the company. So this is your sign here. I mean, go out, and if you're in California, go apply for like Outschool, go apply for All School, go apply for these different companies. Um, it's frustrating me because Cambly is more affordable for students. I have lots of regulars who won't be able to pay more now. I'm confused. Pay more for you independently or pay more for another teacher? Because if you're if a student is working on Cambly, if a student is, if you're watching the replay, I'm reading a comment right now. But if a student is taking a class on Cambly, they can easily go back and like go to a different teacher on Cambly, or they could go pay the same rate to you independently, and they wouldn't have to. You'd be making more because Cambly wouldn't be taking their cut of it for another tutoring service. Yeah, but you can easily take that student. Like, I mean, they can still do Cambly, and if they want you, you could still charge the Cambly rates that you were getting paid previously if you're able to take them independently. Um, so it's not really going to affect the students so much because if they want to stay with you, you can charge them the same rate. Like if you go independent and say you're charging more independently than you would for a company like Cambly, um, Cambly sometimes is cheaper for the student than they pay you. They pay you more than they charge the student. Are you talking about like for the trials, or like they give deals? It's a gym membership model. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't even know that. Um, well, if you the students can still go, the students can, as far as they're concerned, they can still take a class on Cambly and just not use you as a teacher. If they subscribe for a year, get a great deal, and it works out to less than just paying the tutors. Okay. They make money off of cancels and no shows and not using minutes. Okay. All right, I see how it works. So that's why Cambly pays. Okay. So I am a tutor on Cambly. But I never felt that it was worth the money that they pay. So I think that they owe me like $2 right now because I did a couple cash outs, and then I did like some like I did some work on it, and like have like $2 in my account because I don't know, they're one of the lower paying companies, and I never felt it was worth putting putting effort into. Do you guys know what they pay? Like you said you did the math once before. What does a student pay for a class with you? Because you could go independently and teach a group class in like the same niche and charge that amount. So they're paying that or less to you as a teacher. Um, of course, they probably already have the membership or whatever for the whole year, but um, regardless of that, it's terrible. I do believe you should have the choice. $6 to $30 an hour. Okay. Okay. So so $30 an hour is on the higher end of the Cambly. $6 an hour um, is like probably the bigger packages or the bigger memberships that you know they buy. Um, Even going down to the $6 an hour, you could teach a class. So like, what are you guys getting paid on Cambly an hour? Because I can't remember. It's usually works out to $6 an hour when they have a year package. Okay. I'm trying to remember because it's been a really long time, but I remember it was a lower rate. But you could go on and do a class for like $5 an hour for a student, but have it a group class and have like 5 kids in the class, and then you're making $25 an hour. And as long as it's like I mean, you can offer the same low rates if you go independent. You can also go to companies that are going to pay you more than Cambly is, as well. So, okay, so $10.20 to $15 an hour is what you make on Cambly. Really quick question. How are you surviving in California on $10.20 an hour to begin with? Like, that's a legitimate question because um, I know California is pretty expensive. I I don't right now I'm usually getting more than 10-20 an hour because of cancels and no-shows and bonuses. Okay. But still, like California is expensive. So this is a part-time job for you. Okay. I don't think I've seen many Cambly teachers who are just like full Cambly. Like they usually have something else that they're doing, whether it's another company or whatever. But if this is something that like you're no longer able to do, you have about 2 months now to figure out what you're going to do. And it stinks, but it could be, if you allow it to be, a really good push to go in a direction that is outside of your comfort zone. You can use it as a really good push to be able to do something better for yourself where you're not making $10.20 an hour. Um, like I said, whether it be a company like OutSchool, whether it be a company like All School, whether it be completely independent. I believe so much with everything that's happened over the last year in the ESL industry. I find that it's extremely important to learn how to do um, an independent business, have your independent business. That's so increasingly important right now because anything can happen. A company can let you go. They can like say, okay, we have to make these changes because of laws. They can change their pay to you, like that, like change their pay structure, the contractors or anything like that. When you are independent, you have full control over all of that. And it's so much better for the teachers who are able to do that. And it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be full time independent if you're not ready to go in all the way. Just start dabbling in it so that you always have that on the side. And if you're like ready to jump in full time, you've at least learned something and you have a foundation on it. Cambly pays okay for daytime hours that don't have good other markets. There are certain times of day it's nearly impossible to find a company that pays more for those hours and have students then. Um, OutSchool, OutSchool, uh, like $120 an hour on OutSchool for a fully booked class or more. Um, and most of my students were from California. So I mean, like they were homeschooled students from California. There are other options out there. Um, and it's I feel like a lot of teachers, they went to Cambly when all these other Chinese companies closed, so they took a huge cut in their pay. Like Wales closed, VIP Kid closed. Like a lot of these companies closed, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to deal with the cut in pay, and we're going to go over to Cambly because that's an option that we have. There are other options out there for you. Depending on where you live, what those options are. But no matter where you live, going independent is always an option. And I know that it's a really, really scary thing to do. Like going independent is like, I mean, I've been working with teachers, um, like primarily my entire days for the past couple of weeks. One thing I like about Cambly is that it's simple, no lesson plans, just conversation and teaching on the fly. Like just setting you mean like the priority hours where you just log in and pop in there and somebody comes. Is that what you're talking about, the priority hours? Yeah, it is. You can have like if you wanted to have an independent business, there's nothing that Cambly is doing that you can't do. If you wanted to have your own independent business, you could have an independent free talk type of business. Um, Having it on the fly is a little, I just have regulars. Okay, okay, so you're talking about scheduled classes, not totally on the fly. You mean just like logging in and having free talk. It's great for people with disabilities because there are no consequences for getting sick. Okay, that's true. Um, will they pay more for conversation? You're not getting paid a lot for conversation to begin with. And like I said, you could have like you could have group conversation lessons. So just for an example, like so the little bit of time that I've spent on Cambly, um, and I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna open up some priority hours and do some teaching on Cambly here just to see what I would make and like, you know, just to like do a little trial here and see what I'd make because it's been a while since I've ever been on there. But for the pay that you're getting anyways, like it's not a lot. But when I was doing Cambly for the very short time that I did, it was mostly like business professionals that were looking for free, like just conversation practice, right? Is that what you guys mostly get? Or is it kind of like all over the board for you, or do you have different niches than that? Okay. So, and it was mostly people from the Middle East, is when I did it. It was mostly people from the Middle East that were coming on. You could easily do a group free talk conversation kind of lesson. The priority hours would be a little bit harder to do because um, it would just be you doing it. Um, all over the board. Some want real classes and some want conversations. Yeah. And some wanted you to work for free in messages. I've seen that a lot too. Like, hey, I don't want to schedule a lesson with you, but will you do this for me? Yeah. But you could easily do something like that. So like say you have like small group conversation classes and you could do like topics. So one topic, like you might have like your Friday at 3 o'clock class. You got to register and save your seat, and you have a weekly class where Friday at 3 o'clock, your students will, in a small group, have a discussion about, and then think about the things that your students have wanted to talk about. So maybe your students have like made like just think about what they've wanted to talk about before. You could have a group talk on like I don't know, maybe they want to talk about relationships. You could just have like free talk about relationships, free talk about job interviews, free talk about travel, free talk. You could have like these small group discussion classes and charge less for them. And like if that's what you're used to doing, you can still do that independently. There is a market for whatever you want to do. The main thing comes from being able to market it. But being able to market it is going to be like the struggle for no matter what you're teaching or where you're teaching, because that takes experience. It takes a little bit of like know-how, some knowledge on how to do that. Um, but again, if you're not fully like ready and prepared to go independent and you want that, and you really want to be able to work for a company, there are companies out there like Outschool and Allschool that will hire you from California still. If that changes and they no longer will, then again, you're going to want to have those eggs in your independent basket. So I think this is just another sign here that you got to have your backup. Um, you guys have a couple of months to figure out what's going on. I haven't heard anything from Outschool as far like I don't think Outschool has made any decisions for California teachers. I've only heard it from Cambly. Um, but you're gonna have to figure out something else that you can do. Cambly has always been the backup for when I didn't have the independent students. So you already have your independent business going then. So you've got something, and then Cambly is just like a little bit of extra money. I think this will be end up being a good thing, like you said. Yes, Ryan has got it. Um, I'm going to like seriously. This is something that I fully, honestly, 100% believe in. This is going to be a good thing. The reason that it's going to be a good thing is because right now you're working for peanuts or for beans, as Ryan said. Right now you're working for peanuts. You're not working for a lot of money, and you've kind of gotten used to it. It's easy. It's something that you're used to doing. And it's like, it's whatever, right? But when it comes down to it, you could be putting the same amount of effort, the same amount of work, the same amount of time into your own business and growing your own business and not having to worry about things like this happening. And this is going to force you to do this. Like, I have seen so many teachers that after the double reduction policy in China, and I don't know, I'm sure we all know about that, even if you were not teaching in China, even if you are only Cambly teachers and only teaching in the Middle East or whatever, and you never worked for these. I think we all know what the double reduction policy did. And all of these teachers lost their jobs. Some of them woke up in the morning with no classes, that they went to bed and the classes were there. They woke up and it was like, boom, Wales is closed. Goodbye. And like, these teachers suddenly are like, okay, like, we've got families. We have families that we need to take care of. Like, we still have to exist, even though, and they grew to depend on that. They took this as an opportunity and pushed themselves to go outside of their comfort zone and push themselves to do something different. Some of these people, I was just talking to somebody about this the other day or yesterday, and then I made a post in the Facebook group about it, because I'm just like overwhelmed with pride on how much I have seen some of you guys grow. Because since the double reduction policy happened and everybody was forced to do something different, so many people have used that as an opportunity to find new companies, start their own companies, go independent, build entire curriculums for other online teachers to use. Figure out where your skills are. If you want to keep teaching, figure out how you're going to keep teaching. If your skills are in the curriculum development, then develop curriculum. That's something that's needed. If your skills are in tech, then develop tech tools. If you have skills somewhere, make sure you use these skills. We started as teachers. Everybody here started as teachers, and you became, like, you had to learn how to teach. You had to learn how to work the platform. You had to, like, everything was new for you when you started at Cambly or any of these other companies. At one point in time, it was new, it was confusing. And whatever you do now is going to be new and confusing, but you're going to rock it, because if you were able to do it there, you're going to be able to do it somewhere else. I fully believe in you guys. I have seen so many teachers step up and do amazing things. All right, I need to go, but I'll check back and I'll keep this open and check back later. Thank you for having this. You're the first person to point anything out about this. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome, Ryan. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, I fully believe in you guys, that you are capable of doing whatever it is that you need to do. I know there's going to be some doubt and there's going to be some fear in your heads right now. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I have been relying on these beans, as Ryan said. I've been relying on these beans to help pay, whether it be your entire living or whether it be just like even your car payment. Now that's something that you're going to have to be able to replace. And you're going to be able to do that because you have a skill set. You can teach. You already know you have that skill set. You have the ability to learn and add to that skill set. Maybe you've been developing your own curriculum already. You've got that skill set. There are many, many, many different things that you can do. Online teaching is not going to go anywhere. It might change over time. I think that that's been proven. It's going to change over time, but I fully believe when you put education and technology together, they're just going, like, education always is changing and developing and enhancing, and technology is always developing and enhancing and changing. And when you put those two things together, they're always going to, like, it's only going to increase. I think before COVID, the online education industry was supposed to be, I think it was like 230 billion or something like that by 2025. I'd have to look back. It was a Forbes number. I'm not exactly sure. It was a big number. That was the predictions before COVID hit. So after COVID hit, so many people discovered the world of online teaching, whether it be from, the point of getting a job and learning that they could make an income doing this, or putting their children in school. Some people have taken their kids completely out of school and like put them in online education. A lot of people have said, I'm not sending my kids back to public school because of COVID for whatever reason. I don't like the risk. I don't like the regulations, whatever it might be. The online education industry is booming even more than it was before. It's not going away. It's not going away in the US. It's not going away in other countries. Things might change as teacherpreneurs, edupreneurs, business people, you're business people now, you're business owners. You have to be able to, you have to be willing and able to kind of like go with that change along with it. It sucks. I get it. I know it sucks, but I also know that this is something that you guys are 100% capable of doing. Like you can do it. If you need help doing it, there's a link in the description box. Jump on a strategy call with me. They're free. Okay. But if you, and I have marketing classes this week too, but if like there are tools out there that you can use that don't involve Cambly, and you guys are all really smart people. You're teachers, so you're not stupid people. You're smart. Teachers are smart, right? You guys are all smart people. Give yourself some credit. You can get through this. You could do something different, whether it's independent, a different company, whatever. But this is kind of your sign, and this is going to be your push here to go further and do better and do more and just like be as awesome as you can be. Sometimes in my life, when I have experienced the worst things in my life, and I don't know, and you guys can let me know in the comments here if this has ever happened to you, but whenever I've gone through the worst hardships of my life, something better is always around the corner. I work for it. Maybe it's because I'm going through something hard and it makes me work for it. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's what you need to do. But every single time something bad happens, I don't even like stress out about it anymore. I'm like, okay, well, that wasn't meant to be. So let's figure something else out. And I push until I get to where I want to be. And this is your push. You guys are going to be pushed here to do something better, be better, make your life a little bit more awesome. This could be the best thing that could happen to you. It sucks. I believe that you should have the choice. I don't believe in this law change, whatever it is. I didn't really see a law change particularly, but I'm assuming that that's what this is. I don't believe in the law changing to eliminate that option. I think that you should have the option. But if you no longer have the option, then you find other options. You guys are smart. I know you guys can do it. Okay. I am going to end this, but while I'm on here, does anybody have any questions? Like you can pick my brain about anything. If you have any questions about like, you know, other companies or marketing or anything like that, I'll stay on for a couple more minutes and drink my beer. I've never had a beer on a live on YouTube before. It feels really weird. I know it will be fine for me. I just know that that there are people this will be tough for. It will. It is going to be tough for people because it's change, and change is scary, and it's a big change. If you are used to going on and clicking that tutor button and then just like not doing anything besides free talk, and then suddenly you have to go and like have an entire business that you make, or like work for a company like OutSchool, and suddenly you have to like um you know, you have to work for a company like OutSchool, and you have to like make your own curriculum and write class listings the right way and go through the application process, which is it gets, all that stuff keeps getting crazier and crazier for them. It's way out of your comfort zone. Cambly will just gaslight them. What do you mean by that? What do you mean Cambly will just gaslight them? So I will like be forthcoming here. I am technically a Cambly tutor, but I am not super familiar with them because I haven't opened any hours in a really long time, and I haven't had that much experience with them. I just know that I don't like their pay. I think there are better options out there. And you guys are all better options. You guys can all do it. Their company Facebook group is toxic. I've seen that. I'm in there too. I have seen that. Um, I yeah, if Cambly's going to not be great, then they censor anything that doesn't work for them, and their moderators take everything wrong. Their moderators take everything wrong. Oh, um, this is really funny. I have a post scheduled to go on my Instagram for tomorrow. Like I wrote it up today. It's scheduled to go up tomorrow, so you guys will see it tomorrow. Cambly does reviews, right? Yes, they do. Right? Like you can get like written reviews. I honestly like that. This is how little I have actually dealt with Cambly, but I believe they do. I actually have a post that's going up on Instagram. So if you're not on my Instagram, here, I'll write it for you. But my Instagram is Jillian Shanahan _ official because somebody took my name. Okay. So if you guys go on my Instagram, this is kind of perfect timing. I'm doing a like entire week of like intense marketing on Instagram, in the workshops, in the strategy calls that I'm doing. If you go in, they're 100% complaint based. Seriously, the only people that open their mouths are people that complain. Um, Tomorrow I have a post coming up on my Instagram that is going to give you some tips on things that you can do if you're planning on going independent. Like if you're planning, and I wrote this up before this announcement came out from Cambly. So I just kind of thought, I was like, wow, that actually connects. But the, yeah. So what you can do, there's some tips in this post that go into it more. But what you can do is you can ask your students, if you have students that you've been working with and you're not going to be able to work with until, after May, then ask them, be like, would you do me a favor and write me a nice review? I'd really appreciate it. It would help me a lot. And then take that review and take it with you when you go independent, and you can repurpose that review. The company reviews for your classes. The students can't review. Really? Students can't review your classes, only the company? Yeah, those reviews. That's what I'm talking about. If you have like reviews from your students, testimonials, anything like that. So ask your students, would you be willing to write a review for me? I would appreciate it a lot because they can, it's really hard. Even if they can send it to you in a message, be like, would you be able to message me a review and then take that review? Or, or you could ask, just ask them, be like, would you be able to write me a review? Um, you know, if you could you just type it up in the chat box, even if they don't put it on your Cambly. It's not going to matter if they put it on your on your public Cambly account because you're not going to be working for them anymore. There's nothing that says like if you're going to go independent, you can take your testimonials from students that they have like sent to you in private messages, and you can repurpose those for content when you start promoting yourself as independent teachers. So you have a couple of months here. Don't be afraid to ask your students for a review. There's nothing like you can ask them. And then when you ask them for these reviews, like save them. Like get like a folder and like in Google Drive, and just put all your reviews from all your companies that you've ever worked for. If somebody private messages you a review, like saying how great you are, you say like, can I share this as a review? And you don't have to put their name and face to it, but you can you can save these things in a Google Drive, and then when you're creating your content down the road, um, for your private independent business, you could always say, like, this is what the students are saying. Now you've got testimonials from students. Screenshot all of your reviews that you have, whether they be from Cambly or another company. Ask your students for reviews, save them all. And then when it comes time for it and you're starting all on your own, you already have reviews from other companies. So it's not like you're a brand new teacher. You can also add, well, there's more tips. You'll see the other tips in the Instagram post tomorrow, but it's like you can use what you've learned here. My favorite says that he's afraid of giving me a review will mean I will be so popular he won't be able to take classes in the future. Are you in California? That's cute. That's cute that he likes you so much he's afraid to give you a review. Are you in California, Catherine? Because if you are, he's not going to be able. Okay, I was saying if you are, he's not going to be able to give you classes in the future, anyways. But yeah, well, I mean, you can't make them give you a review, but you can ask them. It doesn't hurt to ask. Obviously, it's their right to say no. Vermont. I have not heard anything about Vermont and gig workers. I don't think. Have I? I don't think I have ever. I've heard a bunch of states. I don't think Vermont was one of them. But hopefully, I mean, hopefully this doesn't affect everybody. I do like it should be your choice. It should be your choice to be able to, decide if you want to work for a company like this. Like for some people, they have no interest in going independent and they would prefer to just work for this company and log on. Same thing for like Uber drivers. Like a lot of the Uber drivers really, really, really like it. And, I had to take I had to take an Uber. I don't ever take an Uber. I actually met because they're hard to get out here. I actually managed to get an Uber twice this last week. I had to get my brakes done. I had no car. And I had to get my car from the shop. And I'm like, for those of you who don't know, I'm a single mom, but I'm like out in the middle of nowhere and I've got like nobody that I can like ask favors from. So I actually had to take an Uber. I had to pay $50 to drop my car or to get a ride home and then go back to get my car. On top of getting my brakes fixed. I hate Ubers. They're so expensive. The people are always so nice though, and it should be their choice, just like it should be your choice. All right. Does anybody have any questions while I'm here? Because I'm gonna log off. I said what I wanted to say. I really want to like give you guys all the empowerment that I can. I want to give you guys all the empowerment that I can so that like I want somebody needs to tell you that you guys are worth it and that you guys can do it because I know you can do it. I've seen other people do it. And if it's hitting you now, you could do it too. Vermont was paying to get remote workers to move pre-pandemic, but the pandemic made it super popular to move to Vermont. Vermont was paying to get remote workers to move. Like they're paying people like move out of Vermont and will pay you. I'm confused. Uber doesn't exist much here either. Yeah, I'm in New York. Ubers are in New York, but I am in a very remote location in New York. I think there's like 1,000. I have a barn and a greenhouse in my backyard. So, like, oh, they offered money to move to Vermont. Oh, so Vermont is very like pro gig worker then, or remote workers. Gotcha. Yeah. And honestly, I think that remote work should be offered to everybody. There's so many jobs. I used to work, they called it held sales for a DME, durable medical equipment company, Lane Care. They're an oxygen company in the US. And I was a manager there and we did held sales, which is basically like in order to get oxygen paid for by the insurance company, certain paperwork has to be filled out. And sometimes when they would set the equipment up, the paperwork wouldn't be filled out by the doctor the right way. So the money was in limbo and the insurance company wasn't paying it. So we would have to like call the doctors and say, hey, can you send this form over? We would have to call the insurance companies and say, like, you know, what do you need? And like just emails and faxes and what have you, right? Like nothing that was done in that office was something that I couldn't do from home. And there are so many jobs that are just like that, where you should be able to do it from home if you want to. Granted, I sometimes miss people. And I kind of miss the office. I can't believe I'm saying that. Like sometimes I miss like the ability to like socialize with people, but you should have the option to be able to work from home for a lot of these companies. Um, that company Link Care that I was talking about, I got my best friend hired there, and like she works from home now. She still works from home because they realized that it works. So it's like I don't know. I think that it should be an option to be able to work from home for so many of these companies to begin with. But I hope to see more of that. Of course, then you'll all just be socially isolated. But it's your choice. It's my choice to be socially isolated. I'm not socially isolated. I'm just sitting here on YouTube drinking a beer by myself. All right. If anyone wants to see what this is. So it's strawberry, coconut, pineapple, and vanilla fruited sour beer. It's called Trippy Tropics. I went on a date like a month ago and we went to a brewery and I don't drink beer. Um, but I got a sour beer and I thought it was gonna be disgusting. And I actually decided that I like sour beer. So now every once in a while I try a new kind because I think it's fun. So I fancy drinking fancy beers that like before if I ever drank a beer it'd be like Bud Light by the bonfire. So I feel pretty fancy now. All right. So yeah, you guys can do it. I know you guys can do it. I will see you guys all later. If you need help, if you get stuck, if you need help for companies to apply to or curriculum to use or tools to use or whatever, if you're starting something new and you need help in any way, shape, or form, the Facebook group that we have is linked down below. So you can always, post in the Facebook group and somebody there will help you. I'll see it. There are different jobs that are posted that are moderated. The jobs are moderated. Like there are rules for people to post the jobs to try to keep the scam artists out. And you can always reach out to me. I'm always willing to help you out and point you in a direction if you need some advice on it. I don't know everything, but I try to keep up on the latest for most things online teaching. So, and if I don't know, I will try to find out for you. But you guys can do this. I know it's hard. It's a push that you needed. And maybe you didn't need it, but everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that. And you guys got this. If you did this at Cambly, you can do it on your own. You can do it without school. You can do it, with all school. You can do it with another company. All right. All right. I will see you guys later and have a wonderful night. I guess it's like 7 o'clock right now, almost in California, for those of you who this is affecting. But I believe in you. You can do it. This is your sign to go out there. You've got 2 months. So make the most of it. You've got 2 months to make your plans. And I guess I'm going to put in the plug here. Make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell notification so you don't miss my future videos. I think I'm supposed to plug that every video, right? All right. I'll see you guys later.